Hey guys, it's Crystal Lee Moore Lucier here, also known as your Home Sweet Home 509 Realtor. Crystal Lee Moore, this is Realtor Life. And guys, I have a treat for you today. We have Costa Poloupolous. Did I say it right?
Perfect.
Thank you. And Costa is such an amazing representation of what we all kind of strive to be as realtors and as professionals in this field. Welcome, Costa.
Well, thank you, Crystal. What kind and wonderful words. Thank you so much. Lovely to be here. And honestly, thank you for the invite. I feel honored to be able to be part of the podcast and to share ideas with you. So thank you.
Absolutely. Oh, I'm just so happy to have you on. So Costa, the first thing I wanted to point out was I always love saying like the origin story of how we met. So I talk about my husband on here a lot, Brett Lucier. And I remember when I moved to London, Brett was like, oh, like realtors. Like I know so many realtors, but like I'd say the top realtors that I could think of, the ones I love the most. And he said, you and Mary. And you guys helped him buy his very first house back in, oh my gosh, I think it was like 1999.
The 90s. Yes, yes. And he was a dream client. He was a first time buyers. And yeah,
Yep.
it's amazing that he actually still thought of us that way as he's dating you.
Yes, absolutely. I'm happy that I've made the list now too. I was hoping, but it's so cool because I mean that's the thing, right? Like in this profession, when you care and you do a great job for people, they don't forget you, right? And that's really
Absolutely.
cool.
Absolutely. And
Um, I'm always curious, how did you get started in real estate? Like, did you know you wanted to be a realtor?
I absolutely yes. I'm one of the 6 percenters of the real estate community, of the realtor community. And what that means is I'm one of the, if you look at the entire realtor community in Canada, you probably about 6% of us would be first career. Haven't
Okay.
done anything else. Because we all know this is a second career, third career, sometimes
Yep.
a fourth career for many realtors.
Yes.
So this was, I'm glad, I mean, other than being a busboy and a server and washing dishes at my dad's restaurant, I could say that this was my right out of the gate at 21 years old. I always wanted to be a realtor. My dad was a realtor in Montreal. And
Nice.
even in my high school yearbook, I actually, when you write things in the yearbook, what do you
Yeah,
want to be? What do you want to do? I wanted to be a realtor, a real estate agent. So
that
it
is
was
so
in me.
cool.
Yeah.
Now, I guess next question is why? What was it about real estate? Because so back when, and I don't want to date you, but as
No,
far
you're
as
already married. You can't date me. Sorry, I'm just being silly. Sorry, that was just
it's
silly.
funny, I didn't even think of that. Yes, I do not want to date. I'm like, I feel like my husband and your wife would not be happy. Um,
Correct.
but just without, you're free to say like when you got your license, but if I'm not mistaken, interest rates were like insanely high.
Yeah. They were double digits, really high. I got licensed in 1987, so this is my 38th year.
Amazing. Congrats.
Always wanted to be a realtor, and honestly, it was something that um, the freedom. I like the freedom. The helping people part. Of course, everybody says that because it's a people business, and it's 98% people knowledge and 2% product knowledge. I mean, you can learn the product as you go along in your career,
Yeah.
but if you can connect with other human beings, that's the secret sauce. And I'd like to think I'm a people person. I'd like to find out about people, where they're from, what they're
Yes.
doing, where they're at in their life. So when it becomes a natural, authentic conversation, before the word authenticity and transparency became really, like this is what
Popular.
people are now.
Yeah.
It was that's the way it was like, hey, I really want to know what makes these people tick, or I'm fascinated with their background. Kind of like you're asking me, what did you do?
Yeah.
Always had that curiosity. So it was a natural fit. It was dealing with
Sure.
people. And if you're good with people, the houses will sell themselves.
Yes.
It's all about building the rapport. So I definitely, that old saying, people don't care what you know until they know that you care. So once they
100.
know that you care, then
Yeah.
people will listen to how much you know, what you can offer them, and it's a connection. So I love the connecting part,
Yeah.
and that's how you kind of grew, I guess, the success of being in real estate.
Very cool. And did you start here in London?
I did. I did. I started in 1987 in London.
Okay.
I actually started with an independent broker. He was a wonderful person. He's passed away since.
Okay.
What I didn't know was the instructor that I was working with, and she's passed away as well since many years ago. Um, we were doing our course 3 at the time,
Yeah.
and she identified me. She said, "Hey, Costa, I got to tell you, I think you're going to be perfect for this business. You need to come back in the day, back in 1987. There were the big brands. There was Canada Trust, Royal LePage was there, and it was back in the day where it was on a 50-50 split. We were employees, not independent contractors.
Okay.
And the brokerage would give you, they pay for your ads, they pay for all the things that would make you run. And you were on a 50-50 split. And basically, if you didn't perform, there were people waiting to get your desk. And so
Oh
it was a
goodness.
different world, completely
Yeah.
different world than where we're in right now.
Okay.
But it was a good way to learn. So my instructor said, "Hey, listen, where are you thinking of going?" I said, "Royal LePage or Canada Trust, like everybody else. Big
Yeah.
name, big support." So, I think you can work at this independent brokerage here. The splits are way better than that, and you don't really need to worry about that support. You'll make it on your own. Little did I know there was an incentive, which you're not supposed to recruit people, but anyway, I ended up there. Best decision I made though, because I did
Okay.
learn. I did learn, and I'm grateful to the instructor because I learned how to kind of navigate, not depending totally on the
Yes.
brokerage. The broker at the time, broker of record as we know them today,
Yeah.
was very helpful, very knowledgeable, and to this day, I attribute a lot of my success to the way he ran his brokerage. And it was a
It's
small
really
boutique
cool.
brokerage, but it was really, really cool. So that's where I ended up, and then from there, after a couple of years, I went to Remax, and from there, I went on to the other 2 large brands, Century 21 and Sutton Group, and yeah, so yeah, it's kind of, and then we transitioned into being a broker owner,
I was
a
gonna
broker.
say, and then you've gone on to Street City. So when did that happen? And how did you, so I guess on this path, how many years had you been in when you thought, you know what, I'm gonna take this step. And it's a big step because I think I'm sure you can tell us about like the different skills you probably need to run a brokerage versus running a business.
Yeah, you're right, because you know what, you can be the most successful, top producing agent, and there's a different set of, doesn't necessarily make you a great administrator or manager or business operator. I mean, we're all independent entrepreneur, we're all entrepreneurial, let's be honest. I mean, that's the beauty of this profession. But there's a certain thing when you're dealing with, running that, there's a lot of moving parts, let's say it that way.
Yes.
So to answer your question, I mean, I'm a big believer, from the day you're born until the day you die, whenever that is, open as many doors as you can.
Yes.
So that
I love
doesn't necessarily mean you go through them all. It's just don't close a door in your life. Don't burn a bridge. Don't close the
that.
door. And so, as you mentioned, my wife Mary Johnson, who was my business partner, not only does she have the same philosophy, but she's the type of person that not only keeps the doors open, she goes into the rooms and starts decorating them. Scares the crap out of me because it's like, oh no, it was just an option. We just wanted to see if this what this is all about. We're not going to do anything, but she's the type of person that just jumps in with both feet and say that's a no-brainer.
Love it.
So let me give you some context. We were top producing. Mary and I were top producers. I started off by myself. 9 years into my career, Mary and I met, and we became partnership. Before assistants, before real teams and all that stuff. So it's just the
Yeah.
Mary and I, no assistants. And we would do back in the day for 16 consecutive years. We've tracked it. I mean, I track everything. You can't
Nice.
change what you don't measure. So I measure everything. And we would do between 80 transactions to our best year was 122 transactions every year. Good market, bad, good market, bad, couple of recessions in there, like
Yeah.
4 or 5 recessions. So we were good. And if you did the math back in the day, average commissions, whatever we were making per deal, 5, 6, $7,000. It was a really, really good income for 2 agents
Yeah.
back then on those kind of things. So, you know, to leave that, and so how did we get into the brokerage world?
Yeah.
We're going to the CREA conference in Toronto. It was at the
Yeah.
Sheraton Center, and we were actually, somebody reached out and said, "Hey, listen, we have this opportunity for you. We've identified you. Maybe you'd consider opening up your own brokerage." And I kind of said, "Okay, well, we're going to be in Toronto. Last day of conference. Why don't we meet?" Of
Yeah.
course, Mary kicks and screams, "Oh, we have to get back. We've got things to do, blah, blah, blah." I said, "It's half an hour. By the time the valet car comes back up, we'll have our meeting. We'll be done." Sure enough, we leave. I'm saying, "Well, see, it wasn't that bad on the drive home. Wasn't that interesting? At least we got to hear it, Just what? It's a no-brainer. We're going to do this." So we actually opened up our brokerage. It wasn't Street City at the time. It was an international brand. Wasn't in London,
Okay.
and we were contemplating maybe opening up a bro. It was more married, to be honest with you, than me. I was happy in sales,
Yeah.
and it was a matter of, okay, well, how are we going to do this? Because I was really scared. So like,
Yeah.
I know what we're making, what we're generating with the two of us. Pay our broker, we do this. It's great.
Yeah.
So she calmed me down. She said, "Look, we can do this. Consider that we're going to have to hire a receptionist, and we can do the trades. It's like an assistant, and the rent that we're paying, blah blah blah." So she talked me into it. And so here's the nice thing: we started with just Mary and I. It was in 2008 in May. Recession. If people have been around that long or remember the housing crash in the U.S. and Canada 2008, it was terrible. And so we opened the brokerage. Everybody was waiting for us to fail. And so with two of us, as soon as we went on, like the board turned us on, we within an hour we had, don't laugh, but faxes. We had 3 applications come in by fax saying, "Hey, we heard you. We want to sign up with you."
Nice. That's awesome.
No idea how to onboard anybody. No idea what the
Yeah.
process was. I mean, we just turned on the lights. So we went in our first year to fast track this from the two of us within the first year to 65 agents, totally organic. By
Okay.
18 months, we were at 110 agents. Didn't do a drip campaign, didn't recruit anybody. It was all organic growth. And people say, well, how do you do that? How do you go from turning on the lights to having that many people organically come to you? And so here's
Yeah.
here's the thing is when this is what I'm going to share with anybody. It's
Absolutely.
how you conduct yourself. You know what? And you're a prime example. If you're always trying to help people, I'll give you an example. We used to be in one of the brokerages that we worked at, and broker of record wasn't there. And agent would come in. It was like 6 o'clock. It's like, oh, where's the manager? Where's the broker? Like in a panic. I said, well, yeah, he just left. About what do you need? So, well, I'm
Yeah.
trying to do a duplex. I can't do this. I don't know how to. What's the clause? How am I going? So we said, okay, calm down. Here's what you need to do. We took him in,
Yep.
talked to him, shared clauses, explained the clauses. This is why you need to put this in here. Explain it to your buyers. You're going to look like a rock star. Present it to the seller. 2 weeks go by. Comes back in and says, "Oh my God, I got the deal. I never thank you. Why would you take the time to do that? Like, I don't understand. You could have gone home. It was 6 o'clock." The answer was very simple. It's look. Let's make up the name. It was John. Hey, John, I'll tell you why. Because it's not about if we help you. First of all, it elevates the bar for our profession because you're not going to be making silly offers in the future with silly clauses that don't make sense. Number one, but the primary, I'm helping you when I sit across the table from you in the future, and we're doing a deal together. Right out of the gate, you're going
Yeah.
to say to your client, these are good people.
Exactly.
I don't know if we're going to make a deal or not, but I can vouch for the fact that they're really good people. They know what they're doing. And so if we help each other, I mean, being
Yes.
successful is not just climbing up, but bring other people up. Share the
Absolutely.
knowledge.
Like a pay
Share
it
it
forward,
just
right? Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely.
Exactly.
So
Yep.
that's
I'm the
how we
same.
started.
I love that. And I think what's nice is, so I've had a lot of opportunities to run like training sessions and things. And I remember very early on, I learned to make sure people knew, like, in a situation where you really want to emulate someone or you think that they're doing great, always like invite them to lunch, see if they'll like talk with you. And honestly, the people who are not going to be sharing and they're not like they don't have that abundance mindset,
I
they
love
may
it.
not have the pattern that you want to emulate. Like, go to the people who are successful and happy to share, because those people are confident enough that telling you is not going to change anything for them.
Oh my God, Crystal, you are so right. And it's a mindset. We live in abundance. When I say we, I'm
Yes.
talking about Mary and I. We've always lived in
Yes.
abundance. We don't live in scarcity. I remember we used to go out for lunch, say there was four of us from the same brokerage, and we'd
Yep.
go out for lunch and we giggle and laugh and tell stories. Then
Yeah.
we'd come back in and one of them would be in that, in the shared area there. And say, "Hey, what are you working on, Crystal?" And say, "Oh, nothing." It's like, come on. Like, you really think I'm looking to see what's going on? But that's a scarcity mindset. And I truly believe
Yeah.
and that there is enough business in every market for everybody to make a good living.
There absolutely
It's
is.
true. I can't compete with you. There's only one you. You're dynamic in what you do, and you
Yep.
attract the people that you attract. And I'm not going to be able to compete with that. So it's a
Especially in the
mindset.
unique way, right? So, and that's the thing, like you can give someone the whole formula and they still won't be able to like knock you out of the race because you do it your way.
Absolutely
Yeah,
right.
for
That's
sure.
exactly it. So it's an abundance mindset for sure. I know that you're like-minded. And so back to your point, meet with people that are like-minded.
Yes.
I'm just going to back up one more thing. When I was in
Of
sales
course.
before the brokerage, uh, I actually started out, reaching out to top producing agents. And I'd say, hey, I'd love, like Crystal, I'd love to buy lunch. Can I buy you a coffee, 20 minutes? I'm really stuck. I'd like to know, like, pick your brain on something like that. I
Yes.
have to tell you, it's in us as human beings that we help each other. If I were to ask you, hey, can you help me? If I was on the side of the road, say, oh my God, I need help. First, it's innate in us. We're as human beings.
Absolutely.
We're geared, we're wired to help each other. And
Yes.
so pick the people that you like the way they're conducting their business. To date, I get so many people that reach out to me. Hey, do you have time? I'm like, outside of my brokerage.
Yes.
Never, it's unconditional. Whatever you need, sure, I'll give you a hand. I'm not going to speak specifically on a contract. That's what your
Yep.
brokerage is. Check with your broker
Yep.
of record first. But if you want to speak up here, generally speaking, at a high
Yeah.
level, I'll give you some insights. Absolutely. Then
That's
why would I do that? Not because I'm giving away the secret sauce. It's because it's helping everybody raise the bar.
exactly. Yep. It's the same. And I think that's the thing. And that's where we're so lucky in this industry and profession to be able to connect with like-minded people. And whether you're in real estate or I know some of our listeners are entrepreneurs not in real estate, it really is just like find your peers and then and connect because you'll very quickly learn if you're not on the same page, right?
Absolutely. And it's a networking business. It's a people business all
It
around.
is. It is a people business. And that's what you said that at the beginning. And I really love that like you always had that interest for getting to know people and their stories.
Yeah. It's not, when we do training in our brokerage, and this is a weird market. It's not the booming market that we want. And so of course people are going to be doom and gloom, or they're going to be gloomier.
Yeah.
Here's our mindset. No, number one, wake up in the morning, and you're not going to wake up it's a mindset, right? Live in abundance. There's enough out there. Don't think, hey, how it's gloomy, it's -12 outside, it's going to snow, it's dark, it's 5 o'clock, it's nighttime. Don't be like Eeyore walking around. Wake up, and here's your goal. Or
Yes.
this was my goal.
Yeah, I
Always
love
was my
this.
goal. This is what I'm sharing with our agents is your goal should be, how am I going to be able to interact with three new people today and somehow put a smile on their face, get to know them. And
Ooh, I like that.
I'll give you a simple example. Look, we all have to put gas in our car. And we don't like it because it's expensive, but don't pay at the pump. Go inside, fill up your car, go inside and pay. And you're going to see somebody in there. They're going to try to upsell you a lottery ticket, 2-for-1 Coke, or whatever they're going to sell you. And that's your opportunity to engage. And it's a matter of, I don't care if I'm engaging for 15 seconds or for 2 hours. If
Yes.
I can make that individual, after the engagement in the interaction, feel a little bit better than they did before I came in or before they interacted with me,
Yeah,
that's my goal. So
I
if I
love
can move
that.
the needle in that way. So if somebody, and I've done it a gazillion times in London, I can tell you, because if you're in London, I can
Yes.
go to any kiosk. I mean, I'm a points hound. I've got, the air miles and the petrol. I've got them all, and I will go in. Yeah, and I will go in, and everybody, they may not remember my name. I'll say, hey, you're the real estate guy. And by the way, I always have the pin, so they always know that I'm in real estate. I'm not a
Nice.
estate
That's
agent.
smart.
And it's always, and so they'll say, do you want lottery tickets? If there's somebody I don't know there, I said no. And when I go to pay, I have a card, and I'll say, do you want any free advice on real estate? It's a crazy market out there right now, but there's so many great deals. Hey, listen, I'm going to give you my card. What do I owe you? And you know what? Use me like a
Love
Google
that.
toolbar, whatever you need. People will throw it in the garbage, but if I go in 2 or 3 times, I'm telling you, I have picked up, I'm going to say on average, I can get 3 to 4 leads from these interactions that I pass on to our agents.
That's such a good idea. And I
Yeah.
think the thing is like there's another thing, I'm sure you already know, but you're also breaking the barrier of being nervous to talk to people because you're doing it more. I love
Yeah.
that.
And you're not committed to the outcome. What's your outcome? I want to interact with another human being and make them
Yeah.
feel good.
Yeah. Oh,
And so it
that's so
makes you
good.
feel good. Yeah. You're not, well, what are they going to say? No, don't talk to me. It's like, you're right.
Yeah.
It gets you out of your shell to engage.
I love
If
that.
I can, I've said that if somebody comes in our office, if it's an agent or somebody, a consumer, and they're kind of down in the dumps, the market's bad, and after they leave, 5 minutes, 20 minutes, 5 seconds, they have a bounce in their step on the way out that they didn't on the way in. It's like, whoo, we did it.
It's kind of just, we actually just listened to the Brian Buffini bold predictions at the office today. And like, it really is just a matter of changing the perspective and giving people hope, right?
Yeah,
Because, and that it sounds like that's exactly what you're doing because there's a lot of apathy among agents right now. And I think that's like, that is the answer. And that's what Brian Buffini had said today is that if you can give them hope and like, it might not be a good day today, but another good day is coming.
yeah.
It's everything. So good for you. That's amazing.
Well, thank you. I mean, that's been like my long, like from day one, and that's what we try to teach our
Yeah.
agents. You know, just get out there and interact. How can it be a people business if you're behind your keyboard and trying to figure out what the market's going to do? Get out there, go
Yeah.
talk to people. You know that you have to circulate to percolate. I know a lot of people are young now; they don't know what a percolator is, but that's where the coffee goes around. In order for the coffee to pop and brew, you got to actually move. You got to
Yes.
get out there. You got to see people.
And it's not like it's not about they were just sharing stats as well. Like it's not about going and just like buying online leads and hoping that the phone rings because you're going to end up spending a lot of money for like something that has a less than 1% return on investment,
Yeah, yeah,
right? So
exactly.
this is get out there, meet people. I love that. I wanted to switch gears a little bit into talking about your volunteer history in real estate. When did you first start like giving back and serving? And then how did you get, I'm not going to spoil it, but Costa has a very impressive title. But how did you get to kind of the top of that industry? And yeah, what are your thoughts of, but let's start at the beginning. How did you get involved?
So I actually got involved because there was a bad interaction with an agent that I thought, oh, that's just wrong. You know,
Yeah.
I can't believe this. And I didn't know where to go. And it was that independent broker. And he said, oh, I don't know, we could do this. We could call the broker. They're not going anywhere with it. I said, well, this just doesn't make sense. If this person's getting away with this stuff. And so I called the board at the time and it was a different landscape, right? And I
Right.
thought to myself, hey, when you say be the change you want to see made, I
Yes.
actually I say, so I'm a big believer in that. I actually thought, you know what? I don't want to be on the Christmas committee or the golf committee I actually want to be on ethics. It was called the ethics
Yes.
committee, which is the equivalent to professional standards.
Okay.
And it was hard. And I put my name in the first year and didn't get it in the second. Finally, I got in, and that was my first segue into volunteerism because I
Right.
wanted to make a difference because I thought it didn't matter. I'm not going to pick on that one agent. It just didn't sit well. Like, how do you can
Yeah.
conduct business? Because and I'm talking 1989, 1991, 92.
Yeah.
Nothing's, I mean, the years have changed, but you want to be, that, and I love that you said our profession, because I don't call it an industry, because an industry is when we're making things.
Yep.
We deem ourselves to be professionals, and yet we call ourselves the real estate industry. We're a profession. Just
Yes.
lawyers don't call themselves the law industry. They're the law professionals, right? So
Yeah.
we want to, so I always use that same word that you use. We're professionals. So I
Absolutely.
wanted to know, how do we raise the bar in our profession? And I wanted to see what the rules were. I wanted to know, how can I be a part of this? And so that's how I got into volunteering. And it just, from there, it went on to the next committee. I mean, I've been on numerous committees and task forces at pretty well every level, the local, the provincial, the national. But it started with there. I wanted to make a difference. And I have to tell you, and I think you're a perfect testament to this. The more you give, the more you get. You don't necessarily give to get, but by giving of your time,
Yes.
it's like, wow, like I learned
Round
so
comes
much.
around.
This is
Absolutely.
amazing, right? And then
Yep.
and then you give more, and then you just kind of like, this is amazing. And then listen, and it has to come from a place of sincerity.
It does.
It has to come from a place like, I want to make a difference. I want to
Yes.
make a change. You know what? I think we can do this. This is a good group of people. Maybe my voices will be heard. And I know that you're big on that, and I know that you're big on giving, and I know that that's why it's coming back to you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. And I think that's the thing. Like, so when we talk about reciprocity, I think some people do get a little bit caught up where it's like if you give to one in one direction, I think the law of reciprocity, it will always come back to you. It just might not come from where you think.
Yeah. It's not the
And
person you
that's
gave to, but it comes from
exactly.
here and here and here and here. It's like, wow.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I think if you keep looking in that one direction, you can almost get a little like jaded about it
Yeah.
because it's, you don't, give with an expectation. You just give
Yeah,
out your heart, and then it's that action that creates the vibe and the energy that brings it all back. Yeah. Same
100%. You
page.
get by
I love that.
giving, you get by giving, but you don't give to get. It's not, oh, if I give, I'm
Exactly.
going to get. You don't do it that way.
Yeah,
It's just a universal truth. The more you give, the more comes back.
exactly. Yeah, 100%. And so when I was talking about your larger role, so when you were the chair of CREA, how long ago was that now?
That was in 2020. I got to tell you, I'm going to be known as the COVID chair or the pandemic president because it was 2020. I didn't get to go anywhere. I was doing these types of
Yeah.
meetings across the country. But I have to tell you, on a positive note, I had more people engaged in my presidential year than any other president in the history because there was nothing else to do. I might as well
Yes.
click in and hear what this guy's saying.
That is awesome. Well, I have to, like, that's the thing, right? Zoom can be so helpful. Um, Actually, speaking of COVID, I remember I got stuck in Mexico for an extra 11 days. So Brett and I
Wow.
went and we had to get our COVID tests. And this is when like you had to get your like aggressive test the night before. So we did. And finally at like midnight, our tests come in. His is good, mine is not good.
Oh
And so
no.
we had to figure it out fast. But
Yeah.
luckily they kept me there. They were good. We had to send Brett home because we're like, now I was good for 180
Oh.
days, but we didn't know what would happen with him. And
Oh.
so he had to leave me. It was very hard. But then I had the internet, I had my iPad and my phone. And I was on a CREA panel. So I didn't
In
have
Mexico
in Mexico with a
with
background.
COVID?
With so I had COVID, but because I was vaccinated so much, I didn't have any symptoms.
Oh, good, 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 good.
Thank
You just couldn't
goodness.
get home.
Yeah, the only symptom was that I was like stuck in a very upscale Mexican prison.
That's pretty nice. Okay. You made the
Um,
best of it. I love your
I
attitude.
Yes, no, we definitely did. But that's the thing, right? Like with Zoom, there's so many, and with COVID, there's so many things that as a group, as a culture, that we now have in common
Yeah, for
that
sure.
never would have happened before. It's
For
so
sure. For
crazy.
sure. Good,
Um,
good and bad. Good and bad.
Good, yes, good and bad for sure. Now, what is the kind of when you had to do all of your meetings virtually, were you talking like with every association all over Canada?
So every association, I was invited with Phil Soper at Royal LePage. We did a great talk with for the Royal LePage people for the Century
Yeah,
21 head office for
right?
Remax. I'm telling you, I reached so many, not only associations, but brands. There
Yes.
was nothing else to do, Crystal. It was like, okay, what are we going? Let's call the Korea guy. Anyway, it was. I'm saying that laughing, but
Yeah.
honestly, there was because people wanted to know what is this going to mean? Is the sky
Oh,
falling? What's happening to real estate? So it was a great opportunity, and
yeah.
yeah. So my reach was huge, and I really was blessed in that way, and I got to meet so many people virtually, of course. And
Yeah.
I mean, now it's commonplace. Like that's all we're doing. I mean, the one thing where I said it's changed for the good and bad. I mean, pre-COVID, pre-pandemic, our office was just bumping. We'd have
Yeah.
at any given time, you'd have 20, 25 people in there. And we had a brokerage of about, I don't know, about 200, 180 to 200 at any given time.
Yeah.
And it was, I would say any time of the day you would come in during business and there would be 20, 25 people. And then post pandemic, I mean, we're lucky to get, 3 or 4 people coming in because everybody's doing this
Yeah.
and they can feel, and not because there's a danger with health. It's just we now have gotten accustomed to it.
Yeah. I find that if given the choice, like once people started working from home, it became really hard to get them to come out. And I think sometimes that's good. Like sometimes, you know what, we have the freedom and the flexibility, but it can also be a very lonely, isolating business. And if you like get into that little like rabbit hole for
Yeah.
too long, it can be really bad for mental health. You're
Yeah.
probably not like crushing it with clients if you're not ever going out either.
So both of those things, for
Yeah.
sure, mental health, you nailed it. But also, we keep talking, it's a people business and it's a networking people business. It's
Yes.
great that you and I mean, we do training, and there's sometimes we're fortunate. We get about 10 people that actually come in during a live stream training, and then in person, and then whatever's on live stream, and then they see the recording afterwards, the other one.
Yeah.
So it's great. We get a lot of input, but the magic happens for the people that are in the room because once we click off on this meeting,
Yeah.
We have such great dialogue with each other. Things that, hey, you mentioned that in the meeting, and what about this? And what about this idea? It's still a people business. And look, I've always said, if it's a people business, there's second to none to be face to face with a real person.
Yeah.
Interact, make them feel good. They can see it in your eyes, they can
Yeah.
hear it in your voice, they can see your body language, they can feel your energy with the
Exactly.
authenticity. This guy's sincere. This is great. This is great.
Yeah.
And it will work. It will work. And you can really come across sincere. This is good.
Yeah.
The email part, it's an intro. It may open the door. Phone
Yeah.
call is way better because they can hear
Yeah.
it in your voice. They can hear where you're at. So, but if you have any opportunity to meet face to face, that's what we keep telling you. Even presenting offers, which nobody
Yeah.
wants to do. They're just like sending it. If you have an opportunity to sit down with the listing agent or the buyer, whoever it is that you're talking to, and your client, I mean, nothing is better. There's absolutely no substitute.
I think, and I think they were saying too that I can't remember where I heard this, but when you're within 6 feet of someone, you actually feel each other's like energy, like your heart energy. And that's how far away in COVID we had to be away from each other,
Ah,
right?
interesting. Yeah.
So yeah, you really do feel you feel the difference in connectivity. Like even when, I mean, we'll have a really hard time getting people to come to meetings or getting people to come to trainings or even honestly, like even getting people to do open houses. Like I remember as a new agent, I was so excited. I was like, let's go, let's go, let's go. And there's just a shift where you still have some really excited agents, but a lot of them just are like, like I have plans. I'm just like, okay, okay, but like real estate.
I know. Crystal, I get what you're saying. I so get what you're saying. You're right. It's like, God, I'm trying to move things along here. Yeah. Yeah.
And but it's like you're talking into a wall because it's just culturally, I think we've taken a turn and I hope we turn back
Yeah.
because I think like this industry, like your success is up to you,
Yeah,
right?
you're
Like,
driving it.
yeah,
There is no limit. I mean, look, again, if you can get out there and meet people, that's the secret sauce. If somebody said, Costa, 38 years, give me the secret sauce, you must know there's one common denominator for turning interactions into sales and building it's you got to meet people any chance you get face to face.
yes,
People love to interact with other human beings.
I love that.
Well, that's the way we are. We're humans, right? We need to be a collective. We kind of connect.
And it's so funny that we do need that, but how many people just like they go to work, they go home, they lock the door, they don't want anyone to ring the doorbell.
Yeah,
Um, I'm sometimes one of those people. Like when I finally go home, I don't want to talk to a stranger about what they're selling me. Um, but at the same time, going out, even when you don't feel like it, going to a networking event, going
yeah.
to a meeting, you always feel better after.
I have to tell you, you just triggered something came to mind. So last night we had a networking event at the brokerage. It was great. Got home around 6:30, tired. It's been a long day,
Yeah,
and sit down, and then we all have the ring doorbells or whatever we have, and
yeah,
ding dong, and I'm looking on my phone. I'm thinking, and Mary's saying, "Somebody's at the door. Somebody's at the." I said, "Okay." It's like what? I get it. I heard the doorbell, so are you gonna get the dogs barking? So I get out there and there's this young person that's there. She was wonderful. And she says, "Oh, hi. She wanted to know about cellular phones and this." And I said, "No, I'm good with that." And who's your provider? I told her. I said, "No, I'm good with." Well, what about your ring doorbell here? I mean, do you want it? We have this with her brand. We could do all that security. I said, honestly, I'm good. Everything is covered up. But I am going to tell you something. I so respect that you're out here. What is it? -5 out right now tonight. It's 6:30. It's dark and you're knocking on doors. I said, keep up the great work.
yeah,
Unfortunately, you hit a door that doesn't need anything, but that doesn't mean that the next five that you're going to
yeah,
hit is. So I kind of encouraged her. I said,
yeah.
good for you. She actually left and she said, thank you so much, sir, that you just made my evening because this is our first day in London because we're from Oakville and we're just starting in London and this is our first day. I said, well, keep it up. But that's what I'm saying. She laughed. She said, thank you so much. I talk about if it's a 10-second, 20-second,
Yeah,
that's my mindset. If I can make this individual feel better after my interaction or engagement, I've done a good job. I'm not saying
that
she's
is
going to buy a
huge.
house. She may never come back and see her again, but it was sincere. I
Yeah,
did respect the fact that she's knocking on a door. And how can I tell agents, go out and knock on doors, and then when somebody knocks on my door, I'm a jerk.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's my story because it happened yet last night.
That is, and that is so important. Like, that's the thing, it's the ripple effects, right? Like, I
Yeah,
remember my very first, like, actual, like, job in high school. I worked at Shoppers Drug Mart, and I loved it. I talked a little bit too much and too long with the clients, so they're or the customers, so they put me into
that's
cosmetics.
why you're a natural because you love to talk to people.
I
You're a
do.
natural
I
star.
do. It doesn't help with fast
Sorry, where did they
lineups.
move you? They moved you.
Cosmetics. They moved me to the cosmetics department where like my job was to talk to people instead of like speed up the line. Um, but I remember I used to say like I would always have take pleasure in being so kind to people because like we were the last stop before they get home. And sometimes like you can tell someone has had a bad day. They like would come up and they would be livid because the sale tag was not on someone moved the sale tag and it wasn't perfectly on the sticker. And how could we do this? And I would just say, I am so sorry. Like you're right. Like it should have been like that. And they would just kind of stop and be like, what? I'm like, no,
You
you're
know,
right. Like that's how it should have been.
you diffused
Right?
it though.
Absolutely. I'm like, that's how it should have been. I'm like, and you know what? We'll have someone fix it right away. Thank you for pointing it out. Is there anything else we can do for you? And then they would just be like, I need this. I'm like, okay, here it is. And then they would leave. And you can just see like if they're like, okay, it's not the
You
end
know
of the
what?
world.
I love that you said that because we're so culturally aligned. I mean, I now the more I get to know you, the more I'm thinking, oh my God, she's amazing. That's why people gravitate to you because you are what you live. What you're saying is what you're living, which is amazing. It's funny because that's the part where people have bad days. We don't know where they're at. Look, as being a broker of record, I have to tell you, I've learned to become the king of conflict resolution. I mean, I get the calls
Yeah.
from people I don't know. It's like, I want to speak to the owner. I want to speak to the broker. And I remember this one lady called and it was another client's listed, none of the brokerages. It was a listing, it was a seller. Are you the owner? Your agent came through and she was like up here, like just upset. They left the lights on and I can see that the toilet seat was left off. Somebody used my, and she was like, oh, I said, ma'am, I said, I'm so sorry. First of all, because I don't know what kind of day she's had. I don't know what she's
Yeah.
going through in her life. I don't know. I'm sure that we're not born being miserable. I don't know if she's going through a trauma or something like that. So I understand. I come from that mindset. And I said, I'm sorry, ma'am. I didn't even catch your name. It's Cindy. May I call you Cindy? Yeah, Cindy. You know what? I apologize because honestly, let me find out what happened. And she
Yeah.
continued to yell at me. And I said, Cindy, I said, I don't know why you're yelling at me. I mean, if you got to know me, you'd think I'm a really nice guy. And she giggled, and then we brought it down. And then I said, you know what? I really apologize. I'm going to call back. My
Yeah.
agent did that, or their client, and he wasn't aware of it. We owe you an apology.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was all diffused. It was
Yeah.
all done. But you don't know what people are going through, and I think that's where what you just explained about people coming in saying the tag was this way instead of that way.
Yeah.
But people want to be heard. They want to know that they have their 5 seconds. They want to be heard and that they're valued.
Yeah.
So I mean,
And
good
that
for
they
you.
matter. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's so true because um I find like the biggest thing you were saying, like the market is so weird right now. It's that like buyers are more nervous than ever, sellers are more anxious than ever, and they're just looking to us. And if we are also nervous and anxious, then that doesn't help anything, right? So none of us have a crystal ball, but I do find that like it's sometimes you get like I think we joke all the time, like realtors, like we have all the hats, right? Like we're the counselor and the
Oh,
realtor and
God, yes.
the family therapist and like and sometimes the babysitter. Like it
The
depends on the day.
cheerleader, yeah, everything.
Exactly. Exactly. But and I think that's why it's so cool that there are so many. Like I love that you knew right away that you wanted to be a realtor, but I also love like how many different ways into this industry there are because it just makes it so like diverse, right?
Yeah, yeah, it is. It's about connecting. If that's your goal to connect with other human beings,
Yeah.
leave the sales out. If you can honestly, genuinely connect, find out what's important to people. Look, people are saying all the time now, "Oh my God, the market is terrible. The market." There's no confidence. The market, the market. I mean, you can pick up properties today at
Yeah.
2019 pre-pandemic prices.
Yeah.
That's a pretty amazing thing. Rates are, what's the Bank of Canada rate? 2.25. It was when we were in the pandemic, it was 0.25. It'll never be 0.25 ever, ever. It'll never, I mean, I should never say never because unless there's a world war, God forbid, or something terrible that happens. But 2.25 Bank of Canada rate is pretty phenomenal.
Yeah,
Prices, somebody couldn't get in the market in 2019, and 6 years later they can with lower rates. Come on, it's pretty sweet.
that
So,
is really good.
so the conversation to have, because we are nobody wants to be around an Eeyore. It's like, so if you were my client or if you were my agent or you said like, oh
Yeah,
my God, I can't say, listen, there are a lot of good things happening right now. And what I'm going to say to you is that maybe you're not ready to buy right now, buyer, crystal buyer, or crystal realtor. But you know what? There's a lot. It's the hope part. See, I love that you just said that Brian Buffini talked about that. And it was about hope. The market is great. We need to know that if you have a stable job right now, and if you're in the healthcare business, if you're a teacher, wherever there's some kind of stability, this is a phenomenal time to buy. You can take your time. Think about the poor people that were buying in 22, 21, 22, 23, where, I mean, you're in a position now, buyers, where you can actually take your time, catch your breath, put a
yeah.
condition in, offer less. You know what? No pressure
With
here. You want to,
conditions.
yeah, with conditions, right? Are you kidding me? So it's not necessarily that these words are going to move people off the fence, but
Yeah,
the more I speak these words, that because I believe it, it's sincere from within here.
yeah.
It does give. Here's what it does. It lets people want to know, like, hey, I should call that Costa guy. He was really uplifting, or he really knows his stuff,
Yes.
or and any one of us can do that
Yep.
instead of, oh yeah, it's pretty bad out there. Oh my God, there's only so many sales in our board. Well, guess what? Somebody made them.
Yes.
Somebody bought them. Somebody's got a heck of a
Exactly.
deal. So it's a matter of being positive. There's positivity in every situation. There's
Yep.
opportunity. There's huge opportunities in every bad situation. When there's things like this, I was like, there's always an opportunity. You just got to be able to find it. And if people aren't ready today, that doesn't necessarily mean that they won't be ready in March or January. But you've got to be the uplifting person to say, you know what? It's not as bad as people are seeing out there. And the
Yeah.
problem is, once the media tells people that, oh, a couple
Yeah.
of good months, things are going up,
All of
it's
a
like the lights
sudden.
go on, and then
Yeah.
you're gonna miss the boat.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'll
It's so
digress. I'm
true.
sorry.
No, it's so true.
No.
It is so true. And I think the thing is like, even, that is where you want to be kind of that guiding light for your clients because it's true that the prices are not 2022, 2023 prices. But it's still a strong market. You can still sell, you can still buy. You just have to be realistic,
Yeah.
right? And I think that's where if we hop on the bandwagon and start saying it's a terrible market, like that's not helping anyone.
And it's all relative. It's not 22, 23 prices, but hey, if you're a buyer, you're buying beef pre those prices. So
Yeah.
how cool is that for you? If you're a seller, it's no different when somebody would go in and say, "What do you think my house is worth?" Well, we think it's X, and so, oh, I thought it was X plus 50. It's like, well, it's not going to be X plus 50. It's probably X minus something when we put it on the
Yeah.
market. But that's the price if you want to try. And here it is. If you tell me right now, Costa, give me a 30-day, I got to get out of here. I have to get out of here in 30 days. What's that number?
Yeah.
This is the number. And this is the number. Here's the good news, Mr. Seller, Miss Seller, is if you're buying, it's all relative
It's the same. Yeah.
because you're buying at, I don't know, 15% less than what you thought but you're selling. And then if you're buying, you're going to be buying the same thing. So
Yeah.
it's all, look, maybe the math doesn't work out in every situation, but the message works. The
Yes.
message is the message of optimism, and you know what? It's not as doom and gloom, and don't there's confidence here. And you've got a ton of listings. If you're a buyer, there are a ton of listings to pick from. Not
Yeah.
everybody's going to drop, but you have a lot more than it was in 2022 when all you had to do was
Exactly.
put a little sign up that said for sale.
Yeah.
And
And then I'll just manage the lineup.
yeah, yeah. Anyway, again, I digress. But
No, that's awesome.
this is great. This is a great conversation.
Okay, so I guess my question is, so I love the takeaways that you've given. So about making sure that you're getting face to face, the relationships. If someone is feeling really like they've had a loss of hope and they're really concerned about the market, what are some things that you would say they could do right away to start turning the tides?
So
Is it going out and meeting the people? Are there any other things that someone can do?
you mean from a realtor perspective, not as a
Yeah,
consumer?
as a realtor.
Yeah, I would say get out there. Listen, whatever you've done in the last 30 days, it hasn't been working. You probably haven't done much. You've probably been bunkered down somewhere, hunkered down, thinking,
Yeah,
well, it's pretty bad. Nobody's buying. Why am I doing it? Now's the time. We're in December, whatever, the third, the fourth. This is the time. You think that people don't buy over Christmas? They do. I
They
have
do.
sold
Yeah.
very well, and I'm sure you see you're saying they do. I can tell you that they do.
Yeah.
Now's the time to interact, to engage, to get out there. It's as simple as, reach your sphere of influence. Many agents say, "Oh, I don't have a sphere of influence." Well, look, do you have a cell phone? Do you have the contacts in there? If they're
Yeah.
your contacts, that's your sphere of influence because you put them in there for a reason. And here's a very simple message. It's got to be authentic and sincere. Hey, Crystal, it's Costa. Oh my God, it's been 3 years since I spoke to you. It's bad on my part. I made a point in 2026 in the new year to reach out to my clients.
Yes.
Hope you're doing well with the family. If you need any information for anything, I'm here. I wish you the best. I'll be in touch with you next year.
I love
Boom.
that.
Whatever it is, copy, paste, copy, paste. Get
Yeah.
to know, change it around. If I've seen you or whatever it is,
Yeah.
get out there and reach people. And the key to success, I know you've heard it and everybody at Realtor, but they don't do it, is follow up, not show up. I can do this and razzle dazzle you, and you think, my God, this guy's great. But if I don't keep up and keep in
Yes.
contact with you and follow up and follow up and follow up, you're going to deal with somebody else
Yeah.
at the moment when you act, because you're not thinking of selling now in December. But if
Right.
I haven't talked to you between now and April, and in April you make a decision to make a move, and I haven't reached out to you, and you happen to be in Costco and you see somebody with a realtor pin and they talk, you're going to deal with them.
Yeah.
And that's the reality. So get out there, meet people. The more go out and pick up a couple of your top producing people in your office or colleagues from other brokerages and say, hey, Crystal, I'd love to buy you a coffee. I'd love to have lunch with you.
Yeah.
When I first started out and I was at Remax, I mean, these guys were top producers. They were making money. I was struggling. They felt bad for me. They never once bought lunch because they all said, "Oh, Costa, I've got this." I mean, they knew I was what is this kid doing here. So my point is, get out there, follow up. Follow up is the magic. Again, I use the analogy. I tell my agents, if you want to lose weight and you go to the gym for the next 16 hours straight, first of all, you'll never be able to move after that. Or
Yeah.
you can do 1 hour over the next 30 days. You're going to get better results. Follow up, follow up,
Yes.
follow up. Keep doing it, right? So
Consistency. Absolutely. I
consistency.
love that. And that I think the thing too is that so sometimes it can be very overwhelming if you haven't gone through your database or if you even if you just have a list of relationships. So what I actually did, I brought it back into my business. I learned this like 10 years ago. It's an alphabet system. Called it the alphabet challenge. So there are 52 weeks in the year. And no, yeah, 52
Yeah,
weeks in the year,
yeah,
and there are 26 letters in the alphabet. So you can
yeah.
get through the alphabet twice if you like, target one letter every week. And
Wow.
so I've been doing first names. You can do last names.
I
Um,
love that.
it's really it gets it done. I will say I'm struggling because I also am requalifying my database because I have like three different cities and 15 years of contacts.
Yes.
So I'm reaching out to all of them. I'm on the J's. I started in June, so I'm still only on the J's, but I'm getting
You're
there.
doing it though. You're doing
I'm
it.
doing it. And I think it's just anything to break it down into smaller tasks, right? And I think that's where, and it's not hard. Like if you have your list, you're like, okay, you just print it all out and you just cross them out. I threw mine
Yeah.
into like a spreadsheet, so I have a tab for every letter, but it is something that it's easier to do than just trying to figure out who should I call.
Yeah. You know what? You're right. Don't filter. Just do it. And here's again the magic. Don't don't call with the intention to get a referral or to sell them something. Call out of real, genuine connection. And again, my mindset is, and if you're doing your alphabets, this is fantastic. So let's do the
Yeah.
alphabet thing. If there's 26, whatever that number is that you're working, if I have to
Yeah.
call, 4 people a day, then I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to call 4 people a day, and I'm actually going to interact for a little bit, whatever it is, and I'm not attached to any outcome. There's no outcome. It's just connecting with somebody and
Exactly.
having a good conversation
Yep.
wherever it goes.
Exactly.
That can be
And
top of mind.
I think what is your take on I know we're going to run out of time soon, but what is your take on whether you have to make a phone call or phone call, text, voice note, video? Like where do you think that I think some people won't pick up the phone. They don't like getting on the
Absolutely.
phone.
Yeah.
So how do you feel about voice notes and text messages?
I think they're great. Text to me, I will respond. I can get an email from you.
Yep.
Actually, I'm guilty of this because you'll probably say, Costa, I know. You can send me an email in the morning, seriously, and I won't respond until late that night or the next day. Not because I don't value it's because I've got so many other things. But if
Yep.
you were to send me a text at the same time, I would reply within a minute to your
Nice.
text. I don't know, it's just the way I'm wired.
Yep.
I don't know if other people are wired that way. It's just more urgent for me. Or maybe it's not as formal. Maybe it's a little bit more,
Well,
oh, hey,
every
Chris.
time you open your phone, it's right there, right? You're like, it's
Yeah,
in your face. You're
yeah,
like,
yeah,
well, I
yeah.
can't
No,
just leave it.
yeah, but it's also not as formal. It's like, hey,
Yeah.
Costa, we're doing this podcast. I haven't. It's like, oh, absolutely, I can't wait to see. Yeah, it's a good interaction. For me,
Yeah.
texting is way better than email. Way better.
Nice.
And video is super cool because I get to see you and
Yep.
so yeah, if you can do that, if you can, and I know you do it for your audience, it's not that difficult once you get it. It's like building a muscle. You
Yes.
do it once or twice. It doesn't have to be perfect. I had an agent that was trying to send out a letter that took 6 months to get out there because it had to be perfect. I used to send out letters and they were terrible. Grammatically errors and sentence structure was terrible. The reason I know that is because one of the persons I had sent the letter to called me to tell me how terrible my grammar was and my sentence structure. And I said, "Oh my God, thank you so much, sir.
Thank you
You
for
must
reading
be a
it.
professor. You must be an educator. This is great. I really appreciate it because you're going to make me look better for the next people." So I welcome
Nice.
that. I ended up listing his house. So I mean,
Nice.
it's an opportunity, but at least I sent it out. Maybe it wasn't perfect, but I got a listing as
Yep.
opposed to waiting. So anyway,
Yep.
it's the same thing. Get the videos out there, do the texting. I'm a big believer in that. Big believer in first thing. If you can get face to face, that's to
Yep.
me golden.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Very cool. Okay, so Costa, how can someone reach out to you if they would love to talk with you or ask you questions, but we didn't answer them today?
Text because my emails are going to be slow on the draw. So if you
I
want, here's
love
my
that
my
text.
direct my direct mobile number is
Yep.
519
Yep.
670
Okay.
9622. 519 670 9622. If you are texting me, you have to sort of say, I saw
Who
you
you
with
are.
Crystal.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to, because I won't know. If I don't know, it's like, hey, how do you do this? It's like, I don't know who you are. I'm not telling, I don't know. Are you with Rico? I have no idea who you are. My point is just to introduce yourself. And
Yeah.
again, what I said in this podcast, I live. It's not just words.
I love
If
it.
somebody needs help, I'm not going to get
Yep.
into a contract because I'm not interfering with contracts. But
Yeah.
I gladly, if somebody wants insight, I'd be happy to help.
Amazing. Amazing. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you, Costa. This has
Oh,
been such a
likewise.
great conversation. So, guys, I will put Costa's text number, his cell phone number, in our show notes. It has been such a pleasure to have you here, Costa. Thank
Pleasure
you.
was all mine. Thank you. You're awesome.
So, you're awesome. So, guys, thank you so much for listening. We will see you next time. And as always, this is Crystal Lee Lucier, also known as your Home Sweet Home 519 Realtor. Thanks, guys. Ah, I love it. Yes.